This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Rachelle Arizmendi. She is a member of the City Council in Sierra Madre, which for our viewers statewide is where?
We're a very small town in the foothills of the San Gabriel Valley. We're about 13 miles southwest of Los Angeles, and our footprint is a whole 3 square miles, and we have a population of 11,000.
But it is a beautiful city. It is surrounded by beautiful cities. And part of the allure and attraction of Sierra Madre often is that the lots can be a little bigger and the homes a little larger. And that presents challenges when you think about what's happening with our drought today.
Yes.
What can you tell us about how Sierra Madre is facing the drought as all Californians are facing?
Well, if I may, I definitely want to set kind of the stage for Sierra
Please.
Madre so you have an idea of what kind of town it
Please.
is. It's a very small, quaint, village-like town. Folks have said when they come into our downtown, it feels like you're walking into a Norman Rockwell painting.
Andy Griffith.
Yes, it's Mayberry.
It is Mayberry.
We have a 1940s horn that goes off every Friday at 5 o'clock.
Adorable.
We have a Taylor's Meat and Produce Market where Mr. Taylor asks you, how was a pot roast last night? Because he knows it's the first time that you ever cooked pot roast. So that's the kind of feel for our city. In 2007, we are actually named an All-American City.
Nice, nice,
yes.
nice.
And because of the activities in our town, and also we're a full service town. We have our own police department. We have our own volunteer fire department.
That's impressive. I mean, usually cities of that size will contract out for at least police. But like you said, you have your own police department.
You know the chief by name. He goes into the coffee shop.
I like that.
It's that kind of feel. And we have our Friday night movie nights where you can bring your camping chair and your sleeping bag and have hot cocoa.
But the plus and minus of that is that everyone knows who you are as a council member. And there is an active blogger, I understand, that talks a lot about the goings-on in the city. But it's nice. But then you have the issue of civic involvement. And within your city, there's been a lot of it. Recently, I know, the city was required to import some water. First time in a long time. How did that import go?
Very challenging. That happened in 2013 in October. And it's the first time in over 100 years that we have had to be dependent on someone else's water. And we had no choice. We're very thankful that the Metropolitan Water District agreed to it. We had an emergency pipe that came through. But part of the complications in that are twofold. One is the rates were a lot higher, so we're paying a lot more than we're used to. But two, when you have two different streams of water that are blending together and going through pipes that have had the same water for 100 years, we are dealing with discoloration of water, odorous. Literally. When I was campaigning, I had folks that were showing me mason jars of water they collected, and it was a deep yellow in some of the places.
And I can't imagine the well-heeled residents of Sierra Madre were taking kindly to their yellow water.
Not at all, and to the rate hikes also,
so it was a double whammy.
Exactly. I mean, the quality of our water for the last 100 years has been such high quality that we have major water distributors that were coming to Sierra Madre asking to purchase our water. So if you can imagine that and comparing it to discolored yellow, orange, rusty water.
But as I understand it, though, the water purportedly was and remains safe. Is that true?
It is, and you know, it's been well over a year and a half that we've been dealing with it. So we've had to flush water through our hydrants, making sure that we're cleansing that and that you're getting all of those microbes out of there. So when you balance that with where we are with water conservation and residents are starting to see water hydrants flushing gallons of water out, it's been really tough for the city to understand why we have to do things that we do, and also knowing that we need to do our part in conserving water.
But has the discoloration issue resolved itself? Like you said, you're a year and a half into this. Have the pipes kind of gotten used to the blending?
Yes, for the most part, but we still have folks that are still concerned about it. At one point, we were trying to determine as to what kind of chemical kind of blending we needed to do, but we're kind of taking a step back and letting it go through the process at this point because it's not as severe as it was a year and a half ago.
What does MWD say?
You know, at MWD at this point, they understand that it's not their issue. They can.
Oh, really?
They're saying that, you know, the way that they handle the water and treat the water is according to what the regulations are. It's Sierra Madre's issue of what's going through your pipes and how you handle it.
So we've heard a lot of major cities, major counties. I heard recently that Riverside County, for example, is putting at some level a moratorium on development that mandates or would require a water meter, for example. They're actually behind Sierra Madre on this one. Sierra Madre has a moratorium in place and has had that since prior to your tenure on the council. Tell us about this moratorium.
So a year ago, actually, and it was probably within the first few months that I was sitting on the council that this came up as,
it was while you were on the council.
Exactly.
Okay.
So back in July 2014, we took action on three major items. One is to go to what we called phase 3 of water conservation, which is a 30% conservation. And then the two that you're referring to dealing with water meters. So no new water meters can be installed. And the second part of it is any building permit that required water permits or a water meter we would deny.
That's a huge step. I mean, that really is, when you think about the kind of can-do attitude of Southern California, of the San Gabriel Valley, to tell the builders, the developers, the thinkers, the dreamers, no building right now. How did that go for you?
Well, it was a very aggressive action, and I can tell you it was standing room only during that city council meeting. But I appreciate you bringing into the development piece of it, because that is another pressing issue in our town, is that the town feels, or I should say most of the residents feel, that we are built out to the maximum that we can.
Is that fair? I mean, does that seem to be appropriate to believe?
Yes.
Okay.
The question is, there's hillsides, and of course you can build on hillsides, but that is not the desire for most of the residents. We want to keep a lot of that open space and have that feel of the mountains.
Of course. So at this stage, though, the moratorium is in place.
Right.
And I guess if an El Nino comes, maybe you'll reconsider, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yes, and you know, we have looked at other means of addressing this issue. We have our general plan that we finally passed after 6 years.
Okay.
But within that, it addresses all of these pieces, from the development to the water conservation.
Now, I know you're just Rachelle, and we love you for that, but you are and have become an historic figure in your city. You happen to be the first elected Asian American in Sierra Madre. Again, you're just Rachelle, but it is historic. Talk to us about it.
Well, I can say that the city itself probably didn't recognize that fact and probably didn't care.
Of course, but and that's the beauty of Southern California.
The beauty of it, though, is really the Filipino community. And the Filipino community really embraced this and really celebrated the election. Filipino community in California is the largest Asian group in California. And when you're looking at elected officials, there's really, it's not proportional.
Sure.
So when the community heard about this election, I can tell you at the swearing in, it was just media galore, and it was very exciting.
Sure.
I'm very proud of that fact, but also recognize that that's not why I ran, and I know that's not why I was elected.
Did you get coverage in the Philippines?
I did. I did. This was very exciting, and I do have a quick story about this. Is when I was getting interviewed by one of the Filipino media channels, they asked me, "So Rachelle, what are you going to do for the Filipino constituents in Sierra Madre?"
And how many are there?
And I said, "Well, I'll do everything I can for the 4."
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. But it says a lot, though, about Sierra Madre. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, you're Rachelle Arizmendi, and you ran and you got voted in because of what you had to offer. So I congratulate you on all fronts. Her name is Rachelle Arizmendi. She is a member of the City Council in beautiful Sierra Madre. My name is Brad Pomerance, and this is Charter Local Edition.